What's your name at the Wayne County Jail?
That's my guy right there, Your Honor.
What's his name?
Martin Wilcox. That's Martin Wilcox. Right
That is him. That is him. Okay, call the case, please.
Case number 240553371. The people of the state of Michigan versus Alexander Khalil Martin Wilcoxon. The defendant is charged with count 1, assault with intent to murder. Count 2, 4, 6, and 8, weapons, felony, firearm. Count 3, assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder or by strangulation. Count 5, assault with a dangerous weapon, felonious assault. Count 7, robbery, armed. And today is the day and time set for a bond redetermination. Appearances, please.
And Judge, good morning. Steve Vincent for the people, P 71917.
Philip Reagan on behalf of Mr. Alexander Martin Wilcox. And sir, could you state your name for the record, please?
Alexander Martin Wilcox.
Argument.
Judge, my client's 18. This was a kind of crazy one, Judge. My client's 18, Judge. He's accused of shooting a gentleman that he was meeting.
He was accused of what? You broke up. Sorry.
He was accused of shooting a gentleman that he was meeting to allegedly buy marijuana from. So, Judge, what happened? It looks like, he knows this guy and him, dealt with each other. They deal with each other all the time. And they came to meet to make a transaction of some marijuana. And the other gentleman, the complaint, looks like he looked at my client's cash out. He wanted cash. My client had cash app, something about, I don't see any money in it. Then it's alleged that all of a sudden my client pulls out a gun of somebody he's known for all these years, or known all this time, and just starts to shoot him. I have to let you know, Judge, that's not how it happened. That's not how it went down. But obviously, there are two sides to it. So the other gentleman starts returning fire, and he gets shot. My client gets shot in the neck. The other gentleman gets shot. So everybody's getting shot, Judge. But it's not exactly how it happened in the report. And I'm going to tell you that. My client never pulled out a gun initially trying to rob anybody that he knows. It just doesn't make sense, Judge. You know this person, and you're not going to rob the person you know, because they can easily identify you. So I'm asking the court. His bond is $300,000 cash, Judge. He's 18. Yeah, he has some juvenile stuff going on, Judge. He works at the car wash on 8 Mile in Greenfield. I know how you feel about cars. At the car wash, he washes the cars really good. He has a child, Your Honor. He does have a child. He lives with his mother in the city. So I'm asking the court respectfully. House arrest and a GPS tether was one of the conditions that the magistrate placed. I'm asking the court to consider a personal bond with the same conditions, house arrest and GPS tether. There's a lot going on in this story, Judge, and it's not as simple as it seems.
Okay.
Judge, the people are going to take the position that what doesn't make sense here is the fact that an 18-year-old has a gun. So I think Mr. Reagan ended up just bypassing the whole idea that the defendant, 18 years old, isn't even lawfully able to handle a gun, possess a gun, own a gun. And then after this whole incident went down, the police ended up searching the defendant's house, in his residence, in his bedroom, and they end up finding some type of shotgun as well as ammunition for a firearm. And they put it all together because that room in the house ended up having mail that was associated with the defendant. And they identified that bedroom as the bedroom that the defendant stays in. So they find firearms in there, they find ammunition in there. The defendant allegedly is shooting at the complainant here. And another thing that Mr. Reagan failed to tell, Your Honor, is the complainant's a valid CPL holder. So let's just get into the allegations just really quickly. So what we have here is we have a drug deal apparently between the defendant and the complainant. Apparently, the deal that the defendant ended up wanting to see happen was the complainant comes, he robs the complainant of all of his drugs, then he shoots him, then allegedly the complainant, while he's still in his car, because the police ended up finding the complainant's blood in his car. He wasn't even able to get out of his car, ends up returning fire. So, Judge, I think it's a very volatile situation right now. All of this stuff is going to get hashed out, Your Honor. But with all due respect, an 18-year-old with guns in his house, allegedly shoots this individual, trying to rob him. And then we have it in a residential area. I mean, Judge, I think a cash bond's appropriate here. I think that the defendant has a lot of things not going in his favor. And with all due respect, the $300,000, I think, would protect the community, seeing as though, thank God, nobody else got hurt here. But potentially there could have been a lot of people, because this wasn't one shot, this was multiple shots. Yeah. In a parking area, garage, what have you. So, Judge, $300,000 for the AWIM, for all the offenses that he's being charged with, we feel as though that's appropriate.
Judge, I've never heard Mr. Vincent use the words, "Oh, this is all going to get hashed out. It's all going to get hashed out." And that's true, Mr. Vincent. It's going to get hashed out. But also, I know that the complainant had a valid CPL. So he's a person with the valid CPL going to sell marijuana on the street to another person. I mean, that makes sense too. So, this was a drug deal that you say allegedly went wrong. But what I'm saying is that these guys know each other. This is not a stranger on the street. So something else happened where there was a gunfire exchange. It wasn't my client trying to rob the guy that supplies him allegedly. It's something else that went wrong. But that'll all get hashed out, as you said. It'll get hashed out. But right now, I don't know about him having guns in the house. I don't know about mail associating him with the house. He lives with his mom. Other people live in that house. So, that's all really not here or there. But, in this particular case, I think that a $300,000 personal bond with GPS and house arrest would suffice. My client, knows this guy. There's something that happened. They both got shot, and it's going to hash itself out.
Court, I haven't heard the argument of counsel. Court finds that $300,000 cash bond is an unaffordable bond. I imagine is it I don't know if this is time or the place. I don't understand these types of transactions on marijuana when we have dispensaries. You can just lawfully go and buy some marijuana and pick the strand and your type. And I don't understand guns and chaps that with no money in it and hand-to-hand set. I don't understand it in 2024, but that's neither here nor there. We have a drug deal between a known customer, and the known drug dealer. That's the only thing that's uncontradicted. We got a drug deal amongst clients and suppliers, and somehow guns are pulled, two people get shot. And you both have used the phrase, and I agree, this will get hashed out, whether Mr. Martin Williams was attempting to rob his drug dealer and take the drugs without paying for it, or whether the drug dealer wasn't happy that his client didn't have cash and there was no money in his cash app and he pulled the gun. I don't know. All I know is two people got shot in the drug deal. With that being said, now the cash bond is excessive, also and unaffordable. Bond will be reduced to the amount of $5,000 cash with a GPS tether, house arrest, and no contact provision. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, what was the last part you said? GPS tether, house arrest, and what was the last part?
No contact.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, you can. You're free to go, Mr. Martin Williams.
Mr. Williams, Brian Wilcox, you can leave.
Go there.
What is your name?
Simon Leroy Williams.
Can you repeat that?
Williams.
Yes.
Calling case number 240. Samuel Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because the last case, that's what he was on the camera first. I read that before for the last one. Okay, here we go.
I'm sorry.
Calling case number 24055350001. The people of the state of Michigan versus Samuel Leroy Williams. Count 1, assault with a dangerous weapon, felonious assault. Count 2, weapons, firearms, possession by felon. Count 3 and 4, weapons, felony, firearm. Count 5, domestic violence, habitual offender, second offense. This is the date and time set for a bond redetermination hearing. Appearances, please.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning. Steve Vincent for the people.
Your Honor, may it please the honorable court once again, Philip Reagan, P57156 on behalf of Samuel Williams.
What's Mr. Williams' bond?
10,000.
Really? Okay. All right. Argument.
Judge, this is one that, I found to be kind of really, ridiculous. And I say that with all due respect. Sometimes, when we go out drinking, we have a little too much to drink. Okay. And I think that's what happened to Mr. Williams that night. He had a little too much to drink. So he comes home intoxicated, and he comes in and he encounters one of his stepchildren. And then one of his stepchildren makes a comment about, that's why my mommy cheated on you. And then Mr. Williams, kind of loses it. And they start to argue about cheating. So then Mr. Williams allegedly, slaps complaint on her face. He had a red mark on her face, allegedly slapped her one time. But then he also, Judge, allegedly takes a gun, cocks the gun, and puts the guns to her head and threatens her. Okay. All this in a drunken rage. Now, police get called by a friend. Police get called. The police get there. One of the children opens the door. One of the children is looking like, oh, it's a lot going on here, looking back. And the police ask one of the children, what's going on? And then she says, well, yeah, he's in the back. So the next child, the son, the 10-year-old, is, yeah, you get back there. I think he's gonna kill her. You know what I'm saying? Because these are kids, Judge. They don't know what's going on. They hear arguing and all kind of stuff. They don't know what's going on. So by the time they get back there, Judge, they see Mr. Williams. He's sitting there, and I think what's key here, Judge, and what's really key here is that they find this magazine in his pocket, right? So, and then they find a gun over in the hamper somewhere. So, we know that Mr. Williams never had a magazine of bullets and a gun when he cocked it and put it. It was always in his pocket. He took it out before he did all that because he was just really kind of doing it for show. He was never intending to actually shoot his wife. He wasn't doing that. That's why it was in his pocket when they found it. And they never said that it was anything loaded in chamber. They never said, because they would have said that, Judge, because they would have said that if it happened. You know what I'm saying? You know, police put stuff in the report to try to, you know, make it fluffy a little bit. So they would have said, "Oh, we had one in the chamber," and all. It didn't, because there was nothing in the gun. Now, Judge, the behavior itself, behavior is unacceptable. You know, even when you're drunk, even when you think the wife is cheating, the behavior is unacceptable. You know, and I don't know, you know, how much alcohol you have to get to that point. And sometimes you can kind of lose it. But even the wife said, "I'm surprised he's never acted like this." She even said that. She's like, it's shocking when he was acting like that, because that's not the norm for Mr. Williams. Judge, this was, I think, an isolated incident. I think the alcohol fueled all of this. And then when the kids said, that's why I'm skewed. When the kid made that comment, that fueled a lot of stuff, you know. It fueled it, Judge, you know, and again, like I said, it's unacceptable behavior. But the alcohol, Judge, you take the alcohol away, you don't have any of this. My client just got the best job he ever had. He just got the best job he ever had. He's security at the Quebec Hotel. He's the head of security, Judge. You know, it's a bad situation, Judge. Without alcohol, you don't have it. I think some of the alleged facts in here show that in the bigger picture, he didn't have a bullet in his gun, wasn't going to shoot his wife. The thing, he took it out, put it in his pocket. So he would make sure that it wasn't nothing going to happen. Did he cock the gun and was he doing all that? I don't know, because I wasn't there. But I just know, based on what I'm reading, you know, that you know, I don't think that she was in any real danger. Did she have a red mark on the face? Yep. She said she got slapped one time. She refused medical attention. She refused the medical attention, Judge. So I just want to point that out. Again, I'm asking for a $10,000 personal bond, no alcohol, and a GPS tether, Judge. I think that's important because he needs to go to work, Judge. It's the best job he's ever had. And I'm looking at the numbers that he gets every couple of weeks, and that's pretty good, Judge. You know, so I'm asking the court respectfully to consider a personal bond with the GPS tether. No contact until they can work all that, Judge.
I have to say, Mr. Vincent, I'm waiting with bated breath for your argument. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, Judge, on one side of this, I could just rely on everything that Mr. Reagan just said.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like, I mean, the facts don't seem to be very contradicted, except the part about taking the clip out and the magazine out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in Mr. Reagan's fairy tale world, then it's acceptable if you come home drunk, you can do stuff like this, because that's what he said. And I wrote it down. He said, this is what happens sometimes when people have too much to drink. They pull out guns. They point them to the head of an individual that they're seeing that they have a child with. And they said that they're going to kill him. Now, here's another thing. Mr. Reagan just kind of threw stuff out there and just kind of generalized things and moved on. And, you know, rinse and repeat all over. But then we have 4 children in this house. We have 4 children in this house. So the 10-year-old opens the door, tells the police he's going to kill mama. And then we have a 9-year-old who heard the defendant say in front of the children, I'm going to blow your all brains out. But no, in the defense counsel's world, this is normal behavior. To do something like this with a gun, not a fake gun, you know, not some water pistol. This is a real gun where he's threatening to kill people. And what is it over? Cheating allegations. And man, this is one heck of a way to celebrate the best job you ever had. You know, you would think if you just got the best job you ever had, what would you be doing? Hey, you'd be staying in the clear. You wouldn't be doing stuff like this, putting yourself in a position where you're in front of all of us. I mean, Mr. Reagan's good at what he does. Judge, you know how I feel about you. I think you're the best. I'm reasonably good at what I do. But I mean, with all of this being said, 10,000, I would ask for more.
Judge,
I would ask for more.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Reagan, you can have at me after I'm all said and done. But just because of cheating allegations, this defendant ends up threatening to kill a woman that he has a child with, threatening to kill her in front of multiple kids in the house. The kids have to open up the door. The kids are in fear of their life. The woman's in fear of her life. And now we're arguing, hey, this is what happens sometimes when you drink. I mean, what if he had more? What happens then? What if he's less coherent? What? He shoots somebody, he shoots her? Oh, that's what happens when you drink too much. I mean, this is just unacceptable. I agree with Mr. Reagan. This is unacceptable, but this is dangerous. If the trigger here is just cheating, what is the defendant going to be celibate for the rest of his life? I mean, if this is what happens when there's alleged cheating, we don't even know if she was cheating. God forbid she was cheating. Then what happens? What do we find her dead?
Mr. Reagan, any final words?
Yeah, real brief,
Just
Judge.
real quick,
I feel like I'm in a bench trial right now. I feel like that. This is a bond redetermination hearing. And key words, Judge, is I never thought he would do this to me. Let's look at this, Judge. This is not his normal character. 1 + 1 = 2. Alcohol equals a bad situation. Some alcohol and cheating allegations equals a bad situation. This is all about alcohol, Judge. We're not here to punish. We're here to look at what allegedly happened in an isolated situation, because even the wife said this is not normal for him. He drank a lot, but Judge made sure that before he drank, he took this clip out, put it in his pocket. And Judge, I'm saying that without alcohol, you don't have this situation. That's what I'm saying. Without alcohol, it has no history of this behavior, Judge. No history of this behavior. Now, even in the report, they want to put, the defendant was convicted of home invasion 2nd degree in 2013. Who cares about that? I mean, that, they put the report after all the fluff. Judge, I'm saying that this is isolated. I don't think he's a danger. I think he was highly intoxicated, but at the same time, he made sure that he was not going to do anything that would take him to that next level by taking this clip. Was it dumb? And I'm using this from an alleged standpoint, Judge, because I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm just saying based on what I'm reading.
I understand it, and I appreciate your advocacy, obviously, the prosecutor on behalf of you. Madam Clerk, please mute the jail. I'm getting a little feedback again. Okay. Well, what we have, what we have is a situation where the police are called by a friend to a location. A 10-year-old opens the door and is speaking calmly and looking back, and then another child talks to police, and he's in the back there. You might want to get back there. He might kill her. This is what we have. We have allegedly a situation where Mr. Williams comes home intoxicated, and somehow he won't let a kid play a video game, or takes the video game system or something of that nature. And the kid says, "Okay, yeah, that's why my mother cheated on you." Not really going to get into the appropriateness of a child having that discussion with an adult. That's a little bit of, that's kind of grown folks' business, as my parents would tell me. That's really not a child's place to get into, the fidelity of adults' relationship. But that's allegedly what set Mr. Williams off. And so he cries. I guess after he cries and gets himself gets the good cry out, then he wants to take action, allegedly, and a weapon is procured. The magazine to the pocket is important, as Mr. Reagan would say. It actually does show something in his forethought that maybe this is more of an assault. This was to put fear in the complainant instead of actually going to kill her. However, to put someone in fear that you're going to kill them is a crime. We don't get to slap people, and we don't get to put guns to heads because we think they cheated on you based on the word of a child. This is, Mr. Reagan did start out again. This is a ridiculous situation. It's kind of ridiculous for a child to be, saying that's why my mother cheated on you, that type of excited utterance. a grown man to take the words of a child to the point of, tears, guns, assaults, threats. This is all ridiculous. And that is why, again, I will keep quoting Mr. Reagan. That is why people need to stop drinking so much. You need to enjoy yourself, maybe have a cocktail, mix in a couple of bottles of water in between each drink, and just stop. Just stop. You got the good job, as Mr. Reagan said, the best job of your life. And what are you doing? You're sitting in the Wayne County Jail, missing days. They probably got a couple more days before that best job of your life goes to somebody else. And that'll be their best job of your life, their lives. And why? Because you let the child trigger you. The child triggered you to losing the best job of your life, threatening your loved one, and gunplay. With all that being said, court finds the $10,000 bond is an unaffordable bond. In order to have an unaffordable bond, it must be a showing by clear and convincing evidence that the defendant is a danger to the community or the complaining witness or a flight risk. And there's nothing in this record that shows that the defendant is a flight risk. There's actually really nothing to say that the defendant is a danger to the community. Is he a danger to the complaining witness or the children or himself, maybe, if he gets emotional and drunk? Court does think so. These are actions that I don't know how he'll react to another type of stimulus if he has a little too much, a little too much to drink, and doesn't seem like he's stable when he drinks. And I'll take Mr. Reagan again. It's the last time I'll mention his name at his word that alcohol is the trigger for all of this. With that being said, that's no excuse unless he was involuntarily intoxicated, unless someone slipped something into his drink. Him getting drunk and acting a fool is not anyone else's fault, or it's not the alcohol's fault. It's Mr. Williams' fault if all of this happened. Allegedly, mere allegations, hearsay statements. Okay. That being said, bond is going to be reduced from $10,000 cash to $3,500 cash. GPS tether. 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. No contact with the complaining witnesses. That's all of the children, and the wife, and the address where this took place. So, $3,500 cash, GPS tether, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Unless you tell me that conflicts with his work schedule, we can do another time period and no contact with any of the complaining witnesses and the address.
Mr. Williams, does that conflict with your work schedule?
Oh, yeah, one second. Please unmute the jail.
Judge, you work 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m., then 8 to 4. What are your work hours, Mr. Williams? Mr. Williams. Can you hear me? What are your work hours? What are your work hours?
Speak up.
Speak up. We can't hear you.
He's not muted.
Step up, stand up and come to the mic. Yeah. What are they? He might be muted from that side, Judge. I don't know.
Deputy, ask for the deputy. Ask for the deputy to come to the mic.
Turn the mic. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. What are your work hours?
From 6 to 3 from 6 in the morning to 3, then 8 to 4 at night. I do 2 different shifts.
Okay.
8
a.m. to 4, 8 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah, in the morning. And then I do 6 to 3.
6 to 3. Okay. All right. One second. All right. With that, there won't be a curfew. I can't fashion that. So there'll be no curfew. There's just a GPS tether, $3,500 bond, and no contact.
Judge, and I appreciate the court. Thank you so much, Judge. Because would the court consider maybe an alcohol tether and a personal bond? I just want to throw that out there.
I appreciate. I did consider it, but no.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, sir. You're good.
Judge,